Hi, welcome back to Rohrich Knose Best Podcast, helping you become a better and more educated you. So thank you so much to our subscribers, both on my YouTube channel and my podcast. We try to give you cutting edge information about what's new and what's coming. And what is coming and was here is regenerative medicine. And I have a true regenerative medicine expert here from the Mayo Clinic. She's a board-certified physician, scientist, dermatologist, Dr. Saranya Wyle. Welcome, Saranya. How are you?
I'm great, Rod. Good to see you.
Great to see you as well. So let's take a dive into, regenerative medicine's been kind of a buzzword. So what does that really mean to us as physicians, but more importantly to the consumer? Because everybody says, well, of course I want my own regenerative medicine. And you go, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah, we've been fascinated as humans with regeneration and regenerative medicine for centuries, right? If you look back at Greek mythology, Prometheus stole fire from Zeus and he was banished to punishment. Zeus's eagle would come peck at his liver night after night. The liver regenerates. So this is that concept, like our bodies regenerate. We've been fascinated and know that this happens. And so how do we tap into that natural clues that have been existing to really and evolutionarily conserved? So regenerative medicine, what defines regenerative medicine, Rod, is this idea that we can restore healthier tissue structure and function. Mm-hmm. So it's not just disguised as age-related change. It's looking to activate innate natural reparative pathways that stimulate things, especially in the skin, like extracellular remodeling, improved cell-to-cell signaling, more resilient skin, and more apt to healing better. That wound healing pathways is really optimized.
So where do you see this pathway heading, for the clinician and for the consumer?
Yeah, I think where it's hitting, especially in our aesthetics portfolio, is that traditional aesthetic treatments have focused on like the idea of camouflaging, replacement, correction, right? We use Botox to relax the muscles. We use fillers and biostimulation to add volume. We use energy-based devices to resurface the skin. But regenerative medicine takes it up a notch. So basically it tries to improve the upstream pathway. So can we improve the tissue itself? Yeah. What about the innate biology that we can tap into? And in reality, these fields overlap. Some of the fillers are acting now as biostimulators. Lasers can trigger remodeling. Combination approaches are gaining more traction in aesthetics and regeneration. So really, it's this dual interface that we're just elevating our aesthetic practices into this regenerative portfolio. But the key is, what are we bringing in? Right. What are the products are we calling as regenerative? Are they scaffold-based? Are they stimulant-based? Right. Are they exosome or messenger-based?
Right. And also, we're asking our body to help us, which is really a novel thing to do and probably something that we should have been asking a long time ago, right?
Exactly. Because we do regenerate. Our bodies and our skin regenerates naturally. So it's just making them hyperspeed that process.
Right. So where do you see this going? Obviously you've been doing a lot of research in this arena.
Yeah, I think we can talk about where we started. I think where we started and what we've gotten more comfortable, a lot of people, is PRP, platelet-rich plasma, PRF, platelet-rich fibrin. These are autologous. People are now familiar with it, and people recognize that it's highly variable. You know the difference from patient to patient.
Right, and from age to age, as the older you are, the less viable your PRP is, and that's what's great about some new things like exosomes, right?
Exactly. So that's where we're headed. So the new exosomes therapies are really appealing. They are able to capture the signaling benefit of cell therapies like stem cells, but without delivering the whole living cell. So exosomes are acellular or cell-free. Again, this depends on the source, on the product quality entirely, but there's a lot of promise within that space.
Yeah, and platelet-derived growth factor. I mean, there's now FDA-approved PDGF, which is also in that regenerative cascade. So obviously people say, oh, it's going to supplant, Botox and fillers. Well, I mean, probably not yet, but it's stair-stepping to that, is it not? I mean,
absolutely. And I think where we are misguided is to think about the process as who's getting a piece of the pie. It's actually we're expanding the pie altogether. The portfolio is just growing.
Right. I think that's and I think people need to be aware of that. And also people need to be educated that actually regenerative medicine is a good thing to do. It's especially if done correctly and safely.
Exactly. Yeah, with more trials that are coming about. And even we're learning a lot from our case reports and case studies. So I think we'll just continue to evolve as these studies come in.
So where do you see it heading? Obviously, we've been using PRP, PRF, and now PDGF and stuff. So where do you see it heading in the very near future, both near term and short and long term, so that when people talk about it, they can say, wow, this is a quantum change?
Yeah, I think we're in a very exciting time in science and medicine, Rod, because our accelerations are catapulted and going really fast. I think the future is really going to be guided by precision-based therapy. So we're seeing things with the synergy of AI and agentic AI that's kind of informing our decision making. How do we deliver more precise energy-based combinations, these advanced topicals or injectable biologics, improved hair growth, improved wound regeneration platforms. And all of this is being directed by AI-guided skin phenotyping. So we're really looking at the skin at the cellular molecular level, profiling and mapping these out. So a lot of these molecular diagnostics that are really emerging right now is going to be validated, and then it's going to be at the forefront of informing the right therapy for the right patient. So I think personalized tissue.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be personalized regenerative care, right? That you can then dial up yourself, or you go to your physician and then they can personalize it. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing that, and AI has a huge role in that. I mean, we're seeing that not only in regenerative medicine, we're seeing it in oncology therapy and everything else, because, rather than doing it with a shotgun approach, we're doing it with a very focused approach. I mean, that's really, really exciting. So for the consumer, what does that mean today for them? What should they be looking out for or not in the regenerative space?
Absolutely. I think the regenerative space is taking us from a one-size-fits-all rejuvenation that we were starting from to a more informed, personalized tissue optimization. So as you're looking for providers, I think talking to providers that are advanced and well-versed in guiding that personal journey for each person and understanding that it's not a one-size-fits-all. We have to optimize. We have to think about prejuvenation and priming. We have to think about rejuvenation and post-procedural cares and healing and bringing in systemic health, bringing in wellness into a lot of these aesthetic care practices. I think that's the future. It's the field is shifting towards like a holistic practice that is really focused on that tissue optimization piece.
Which really then goes into longevity, which we'll talk about in the next podcast. So how does that all fit together? How do all those things fit together with longevity, regenerative? I mean, those are building blocks, are they not? I mean,
they are building blocks. I think about longevity as performance, your skin's performance. It's your ability to function. So when we think about regenerative medicine, those are the tools. So what are the tools that we're going to use to enhance and optimize skin performance? So that's where we're headed, is as we do these different regenerative approaches and early interventions, targeted and more personalized care, we're really trying to make sure that the skin is functionally aging well. Mm-hmm. And that is the goal of longevity.
Yeah. So, in wrapping up, what are the 3 take-home points for the consumer on, this regenerative phrase and phase of where we are, and what should they look out for, and what really works in the regenerative area now, and where are we heading? Yeah.
Yeah. I think the regenerative phase is really shifted towards moving from this anti-aging camouflage approach into a more slower regenerative rejuvenation that is slow over time. So looking for ways that you can do small changes that are consistent, and making sure you're kind of seeing providers more quarterly basis and doing small procedures or kind of optimizing skin health in that way versus one or two big energy-based devices or one or two big procedures at different cadences. I think that optimization is gaining more traction as a very personalized approach. And I think consistency is king, making sure we're being consistent with how we care for our skin on a daily basis. All of those are the foundations for regeneration.
Yep. Great. Incredibly great wisdom and advice from Dr. Wyles, who's a regenerative expert at the Mayo Clinic. So give us your thoughts, give us your comments, and until next time, stay youthful, stay regenerative, and stay rejuvenated.